Welcome to another round of Prem and Proper here at Soccer Down Here. Time to roll through match week 29/30/28/31, depending on which team we're talking about. And we'll take you backward before we go forward and get you ready as teams that are still left in the Champions League navigate that. And we roll our way through all the different competitions going on this week and get you ready for another packed weekend as group number 3, as we call it. You thought there might be some separation, but there really wasn't some separation. So we'll get into that as well. So let's go backward before we go forward and get into all of the finals from last week. And we'll get into all the sound that you need to know and all of the information as well to get you ready for the match week. Last time through, back on the weekend of the 8th, a very, very busy time. Early match, Manchester United, a 2-0 win over Everton at a -175. Wolves, the shock result at a +400, beating Chelsea by the score of 1-0. Spurs at a +174, slight underdog, got the 2-1 win over Brighton. That match got a lot of heat from calls that were not made by officials from the fans, really of both sides, but mostly of the Brighton side. Spurs end up with a 2-1 win. Bournemouth, big win, 1-0 over Leicester. That was it for Brendan Rodgers. And the first time out in your caretaker manager situation. We'll have news on that in just a sec. But Bournemouth gets the big win on the road at a +267. West Ham, just as big a win over Fulham, 1-0 at a +156. Newcastle at a -104 beats Brentford at the G-Tech by a score of 2-1. Ivan Toney with a saved penalty in that match as well. Aston Villa, 2-0 win over Nottingham Forest at a -172. Manchester City, after a little while, warmed up and beat Southampton by the score of 4-1 at a -400. On your Sunday, two matches, biggest surprise of them all was Crystal Palace putting 5 on Leeds at Elland Road, winning 5-1 at a +275. The work by Roy Hodgson continues. And Liverpool and Arsenal, a 2-2 draw. There's other news with that as well that we will be getting into as we get you ready for the activity coming up on the weekend. So with those results, let's get you into the standings. Once again, we've got the 3 groups. We'll get into the 3 groups. Arsenal, 6 points clear, but Manchester City has a match in hand. And there is a match between the two coming up in short order. 73 points to 67. Newcastle, third at 56. They are ahead of Manchester United on goal difference, +27 to +7. Spurs right now are 5th at 53 points. Villa 6th at 47. Brighton, 2 matches in hand on Villa and Spurs, have 46 points. Draws them closer to European football, but not quite. Liverpool 8th with the draw right now at 44 points. 29 matches played. Brentford solidly mid-table, 9th place, 43 points, even though they have lost 2 in a row. Fulham has lost 4 of their last 5, only 1 point in their last 5 matches. They're 10th at 39 points, ahead of Chelsea on goal difference, -1 to -2. That gets us to group number 3. We've talked about group number 3 because of the absolute chaos that is going to be happening with this group as we have continued to go forward. Starts off in 12th place. 3, 6, 9 teams we're going to focus on here. Crystal Palace, 33 points, and they have won 2 in a row. 7 goals to 2 in that time. 33 points, they lead group number 3. Wolves, 31 points. They've hit each column once in the last 3 matches. 31 points, 30 matches played. West Ham, ahead of Bournemouth on goal difference. It is -12 to -29. So if Bournemouth and West Ham get into any kind of a tie with folks below, it would be West Ham ahead of Bournemouth by quite some margin. Bournemouth have won 3 of their last 5, by the way, to get to 30 points. That gets us to 16th. Leeds have win-loss their way through their last 4. They're at 29 points. Now, Everton, 17th at 27 points, 3 draws in their last 5. They've only lost once. They're at 27 points, -20 on goal difference, and they've only scored 23 goals this year as a club, 23 goals in 30 matches. Now to the relegation zone. Nottingham Forest, 4 losses in their last 5, down to 27 points. And they are at a goal difference of -30, same as Everton, with Everton at -20, Spurs at -30. Anything with even points, Everton would be ahead. Leicester lost 4 of 5. They've lost 3 in a row. They're at 25 points, minus 12 in goal difference. Southampton is 4 points adrift right now. They've lost 3 of 4, and they're at 23 points with a goal difference of minus 27. So let's get you into the news of the week as we go forward. News out of Chelsea involving one of the members of the backline, Ben Chilwell, courtesy of our friends at Sky Sports.
Right, we've got some breaking news, and it's a real boost for Chelsea before tomorrow's Champions League quarter-final against Real Madrid, because Ben Chilwell has extended his contract by 2 more years. Now, the deal will keep him at Stamford Bridge until the summer of 2027, and this is what Chilwell has had to say about it. I feel very settled at Chelsea and have really enjoyed my time on the pitch here, so I'm very pleased the club want me to be part of the project long-term. And I'm very happy to sign this extension to my contract. We're working hard for success, and I will do my best to bring more smiles to the faces of the fans who have made me feel so welcome. So Ben Chilwell extended his contract at Chelsea until the summer of 2027.
So we mentioned what's going on at Leicester. Leicester, Dean Smith is now in charge as the manager for the moment. Craig Shakespeare and John Terry, assistants. Sky Sports went to the King Power to talk to some of the fans about what they thought.
I think Dean Smith can actually get the best out of players, make them wake up, you know. I feel they've been far too complacent. There's no unity in them. There's no passion. They don't want to play for the badge anymore. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully Dean Smith can implement his strategies and get the best out of them, really.
I think Dean Smith's a decent manager, but I don't know if we're giving him enough time, to be honest. I hope we have, but it's going to be a hell of a turnaround if he can do it. I mean, we've got to win, I think, basically 5 matches out of the last 8. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, I think he's been doing a great job, so I expect he can save Leicester. I think we still have like 8 or 9 matches left, so still got chance.
Carlo Ancelotti has some other business to take care of right now, and it's Real Madrid in Champions League. He was asked at his press conference, so this is courtesy of Real Madrid their own selves, about what Ancelotti thought about Chelsea's situation, and would he go back?
Are you sad to see Chelsea in the state that it's in, nearer the bottom of the table than the top, given that you won the Premier League title with them? And if asked, would you consider going back to help them?
Again, I'm sad. Yes, I have a fantastic memory of this club, of the people that are still working there, and I am a supporter of Chelsea, of course, because I spent 2 years really nice there. Be back? No, I think that Lampard, I hope that Lampard is able to do a fantastic job with them.
News also involving a fixture change because of policing and everything that would have to go into security involving Arsenal and Chelsea. It's no longer on the 29th. Once again, courtesy of our friends at Sky Sports News.
Right, we've got a little bit of breaking news to bring you now about a fixture change. You can see it at the bottom of your screen. The Premier League game between Arsenal and Chelsea, due to be held at the Emirates and was scheduled to be on the Saturday night football on Saturday the 29th of April, 5:30 kickoff, will now take place on Tuesday the 2nd of May with an 8 o'clock kickoff. Well, a statement from the Premier League has just been released, and it says this: the initial scheduling of this match was approved at a safety advisory group meeting back in February. However, the Metropolitan Police has now revised its position regarding the kick-off time and requested a further safety meeting, which determined the match had to be rescheduled. They go on to say, we regret the need to move this fixture at late notice and the impact this will have on supporters. The game will remain live on Sky Sports. So confirmation then that Premier League game, big game as well, between Arsenal and Chelsea at the Emirates, has moved from the Saturday night football on Saturday the 29th of April and will now take place on Tuesday the 2nd of May with an 8 o'clock kick-off. Right, we've got a little bit of breaking news to bring you now about a fixture change. You can see.
Now a couple of other moments from our friends at Sky. Who's going to win the Prem? They crunched the numbers, and here's what they came up with.
Opta have got a win predictor. They've got a place predictor for every team in the Premier League between now and the end of the season. Where do they think the title's going?
Opta. We need to say it's Opta. Manchester City, ever so slightly. 51 48.4%. Arsenal, 48.6%. And it sounds to us that was after Roberto Firmino's late leveller for Liverpool. But look, Arsenal fans, I wouldn't worry too much about it as well. It's very, very tight as well. But this just says how tight this Premier League has been so far. It's been really exciting.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier on that Manchester City still fighting on three fronts, and we saw it towards the end of last season, just how difficult it was for Liverpool to try and keep spinning the plates in every single competition that they were in.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the potential games both sides have as well, I mean, this could be key here. Arsenal know what they need to do. They're out of the Europa League now. 8 games till destiny. City, 16. 16! Unbelievable. And that's if they reach the FA Cup final. They've obviously got the FA Cup semi as well. They've got the Champions League quarter-finals and Pep Guardiola. We've mentioned about how desperate they will be to get to that Champions League final as well. How much will that play a part in terms of the title race? But City have 2 other competitions they are looking at as well. And, of course, the Champions League is massive for them.
So slightly in Manchester City's favour. Now Michael Bridge was asked about Leicester's situation. And once again, as crunching the numbers, here's what Bridge found out.
To City, 11 defeats in 15. And look at that, 27 goals conceded. No clean sheets. And again, we go back to the summer, don't we, Rob, about Leicester City. Should they have brought another goalkeeper in to replace Kasper Schmeichel? Leicester fans were so surprised that they didn't bring in a replacement. I think there was a general agreement. Yes, Kasper, you've been brilliant for us all these years. You go to your new club. You have a new adventure. But where's our new goalkeeper? Brendan Rodgers stuck with the other goalkeepers, Ward and Everson. That doesn't look like that's turned out to be the best move. So there we go. John Terry coming in. Could that be a big move for them as well?
It's interesting, though, because you talk about Kasper Schmeichel leaving. It is a big thing. You talk about the lack of investment. Nothing Leicester can do about that. Now, Dean Smith's got to work with what he's got. And confidence is a massive thing because that game against Bournemouth at the weekend, they just looked so slumped and devoid of anything.
It was a sort of must not lose. I mean, have you seen a Premier League bottom half like it?
It's amazing, isn't it?
I honestly cannot remember. I mean, Palace winning 5-1 against Leeds on Sunday. They're back up to 12th. But, I mean, you look at it here. I mean, Chelsea there. I mean, it just sums up the season, doesn't it? And they're in the bottom
I think they'll
half.
stay up, Mike.
I think they'll stay up. But we'll start from Palace downwards. I mean, what a huge impact Roy Hodgson has made. It's the sort of month of the interims, isn't it? Because Javi Gracia is not even the permanent. Like, he's there till the end of the season with Leeds. We don't know if he's going to get the job next season. But you look at that as well. David Moyes, I was with West Ham twice last week, under huge pressure after the Newcastle defeat. Big win at Fulham. Gary O'Neill, Javi Gracia, Sean Dyche. There's been changes everywhere. At the bottom, Nathan Jones. He left his job as well. The one club who have kept their manager, Steve Cooper, Nottingham Forest, they're in the bottom 3. And they are going to hope Leicester City fans that they have a bit of a Roy Hodgson kind of interim there as well. There's a lot of interims going around at the moment. You've got Christian Stellini at Tottenham Hotspur. It's quite a season for interims. Frank Lampard interim. Managers and clubs. We talk about managers who are wanting maybe long-term contracts. But Leicester, we don't know where these clubs will be in the summer. So Dean Smith will be hoping he can turn this around. Look, you look at it there. 8 games to go. It's so tight.
Then leading into the Champions League round of 8 involving Manchester City and Bayern Munich, Pep Guardiola was asked about his lack of winning the big one. And so he invoked one of the greatest of all time, courtesy of Manchester City.
We want to try like we tried all the time, but that doesn't mean it's going to win, no. No, yesterday played a master, Jack Nicklaus. How many masters or how many grand majors have played in his career? How many? In the 30, 40 years as a golfer. 30 years for 4 majors, like it's a Champions League in comparison. How many? 120? 130? How many won? 18. Wow, how many? 18 with 130. He lose more than the win. That is a sport. In football, in golf, in basketball. Michael Jordan, the best athlete for me, basketball football player, won 6 NBA titles. How many years played? 16. He lose more than win. So this game, all games, they are so difficult. The important is to be here and compete well, do our best, knowing that tomorrow at 9 o'clock you have to be perfect to try to get a good result to go to Germany. It's no more than that. I live my profession in that way. And after that, I lose. I'm not perfect. I'm not good. I'm not, every time I touch, it will be always, it's going to do. The important is still we are there. Still after winning what we won last season, I said many times, but that is my biggest compliment we can do as an organization, as a team. Still, we are there.
So that gets us to where we are coming up on the weekend. Mentioned that it could be a total of 16 matches remaining for Manchester City if they hit the finals in each of their competitions. 8 remaining for Leicester as we go. It is, once again, a very, very busy Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then late midweek again. So it goes Saturday, Sunday, Monday, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming up to get you toward the end of April. 7:30 a.m. start Saturday morning. Villa hosting Newcastle. Newcastle's a plus 114. Villa's a plus 263. Chelsea and Brighton start your 10 o'clocks, and the Juice Boxers pretty much have thrown a blanket over the whole thing. Chelsea and Brighton within the margin of victory, plus 166 and 170 to each other to win. Your draws a plus 244. Everton hosting Fulham. Right now, Everton, big favorite at a plus 108 to get the big win at home. Fulham at a plus 281, your draws at a plus 242 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. Southampton, Crystal Palace. At St. Mary's, Crystal Palace, with their recent run of form, they are a road favorite, but once again within the margins, plus 168 to plus 179, your draws a plus 2.25. Spurs hosting Bournemouth, big favorite, no surprise, at a minus 204. Bournemouth is a plus 565. Wolves and Brentford, your last matchup in the 10 o'clocks. This one's at the Molineux. Wolves a plus 154, Brentford a plus 196, and your draws a plus 225. Manchester City gets the late game on Saturday after playing on Tuesday in Champions League. They're a minus 525, hosting Leicester at the Etihad, who are a plus 1360. Your 2 matches on Sunday, your 9 o'clock West Ham hosting Arsenal. Arsenal, no surprise, at a minus 472. West Ham at a plus 490. Nottingham Forest, plus 450. Manchester United, a minus 159 in the composite. Your Monday Night Football leads in Liverpool at Elland Road. Liverpool a minus 135. And your draws a plus 326. Leads slightly north of that to win at a plus 338. Getting you ready for the rest of the news going on in the Premier League. Frank Lampard, reports emerged last week that Chelsea part owner Todd Boehly asked James Corden for advice before appointing Frank Lampard. Quote, I saw the headline and I'm absolutely unaware if it's true or not, Lampard said before Wednesday's Champions League quarterfinal first leg against Real Madrid. Frank Lampard says Todd Boehly deserves more respect than suggesting that he hired him at the recommendation of James Corden, considering that they are friends in this process. Once again, Lampard said wow when he was asked about it. Saw the headline, James Corden, absolutely unsure if it's true or not. It's obviously a great headline to put together casually from the outside. So there's that information. And comparisons to Roberto Di Matteo, yes, that they want to make history. Once again, remember, Di Matteo led the Blues to Champions League glory for the first time as a caretaker manager in 2012 when Frank Lampard was on the squad. Manchester United sales going to enter the 3rd round of bidding. Rival bidders Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe expected to put in final offers before the end of the month. And that's where they are. Once again, they have been approved to go into that 3rd round. Rival bidders have been asked by the Rain Group to submit their final offers by the end of the month. There are believed to be 7 interested parties, majority of whom want to buy a minority stake in the club. So obviously we will keep an eye on that one. 12 managers have been axed in the Premier League this season. Could go further as you get into the business end of the campaign. A lot of folks looking at Nottingham Forest and Steve Cooper. So would that make it 13? We'll certainly find out. We mentioned the news about the fixture change. Arsenal, once again, chasing a title with Manchester City, 6-point cushion. They are listed as very disappointed as police have moved the Chelsea Premier League fixture to May the 2nd because of the police situation and the security situation. Teams met at the Etihad back on April 20. They meet it on April 26. Match Arsenal were set to follow with an all-London clash with Chelsea on the 29th, and that got slid once again due to the local police request. So we'll see what happens there. Arsenal expressed their frustration. Quote, this change has been made as a result of the Metropolitan Police revising its position on policing the match, the club said on their website. After working to try to find a solution with the Met Police, we're very disappointed with the impact and disruption this fixture change will cause to our supporters, particularly after the match had been initially approved for a Saturday evening kickoff. Football Supporters Association also hit out at the late change with just 2 weeks' notice. They posted their response on Twitter. Arsenal's remaining fixtures: at West Ham, home to Southampton, at Manchester City, home to Chelsea, at Newcastle, home to Brighton, at Forest, home to Wolves. So that's what you're staring at to get you through May the 28th. Interesting run of form there. Also, getting into championship changes, congratulations to Burnley, who have been promoted to the Premier League next season, and Vincent Kompany. 21 changes. 15 of the 24 clubs have made at least one change. 21 changes in the championship, as a matter of fact. And Reading sacking Tom Ince after an 8-game winless run, losing 5 in a row. Also on the board there. And speaking of the Liverpool-Arsenal match, assistant referee and the elbow, Konstantin Hatzidakis, will not officiate until the Andy Robertson investigation comes to a close. Hatzidakis appeared to raise an elbow at Andy Robertson after the Liverpool defender approached him at the half. Sky Sports' Jeff Shreve said Andy Robertson was absolutely apoplectic and stunned even when that happened, so he will not officiate until the investigation over an alleged elbow is over, according to the PGMOL. Robertson insisting that the referee had struck him in the throat. Robertson given a yellow card by Paul Tierney for the involvement. Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson approached the officials to discuss the incident. Statement from the PGMOL. PGMOL will not be appointing Konstantin Hatzidakis to fixtures in any competition while the FA investigates the incident involving the assistant referee and Liverpool defender Andrew Robertson at Anfield. So you've got that. Jurgen Klopp unable to cast any light on the incident after the fact. So Ref Support UK believes Hatzidakis should be held accountable, and obviously we will know more and we will have more on this once again as the investigation continues involving Konstantin Hatzidakis and what happened in the Liverpool-Arsenal match. So that is some of the latest that's going on in the Premier League as we get you ready for the sprint, group number 3, and trying to figure out who's going to make it, who's not going to make it, and figure out how many points it's going to take to survive the Premier League here in 2023. Once again, group number 3, if we include Crystal Palace, 10 points separating 12 through 20 with 8 matches to go, unless you're West Ham and you have 9. If you want to include Wolves in that and knock out Crystal Palace, it is 8 points and 8 teams for relegation and staving it off. So once again, enjoy your matches in the Premier League attached to your favorite clubs. One more note before we go, involving the Premier League and their tour of America. And it's going to happen, and it was announced at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning, where the Premier League is going to have part of their summer series heading to a couple of different cities in Atlanta. And it was announced, the summer series. Right now, it's July 22 through 30, a couple of different sites. But here's your matchups before we go. Lincoln Financial Field, Saturday the 22nd, Chelsea and Brighton. 23rd, a doubleheader at the Link, Fulham, Brentford, Newcastle, Villa. Wednesday the 26th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Newcastle, the return of Miguel Almiron and Darren Eales. Wednesday the 26th at the same time in Orlando, Fulham and Aston Villa. Friday at Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey, Brighton and Newcastle. Sunday, July 30 in the afternoon at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. And who thought this would be anything other than temperate? Noon kick. Aston Villa, Brentford, 2:45, Chelsea and Fulham on those in those venues. And as a note, in the host city information, first time a natural grass pitch will be installed at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for these matches. And New Jersey, Orlando, and Philly, once again, one of only you got in Landover, Maryland. You had fan fests in these places in the past, so it's a chance for all these cities that are getting this tour on the East Coast to see the Premier League come July. So that's another round of everything going on here in the Premier League and another round of Prem and Proper. Thanks for hanging out with us, and enjoy the Premier League this upcoming weekend as the race to stay up and the race to stay down continues for another 2 months. Play it safe, everybody. We'll see you next time.